At this point in the course, we're about to make a pivot. We're leaving behind Homer's world and this wonderfully rich set of stories that get told in Homer's epic poetry, and we're moving into some different genres of writing. We're going to look at things in the next couple of weeks that are going to get us up close and personal with the gods. We're going to spend some time in their temples. We're going to get to know them. We're going to get to know what they like, what they don't like. We're going to get to know them in a kind of up close and personal way. We got a sense of them from Homer, but our main character, always there, was a human being, a male-gendered version of the human being at the center, and that's what we really focused on. The gods were kind of there. They seem to be mostly attached to the action by focusing on what humans cared about. That's not going to be true in where we turn to next. What we're going to do now is go to an epic by this poet Hesiod named the Theogony, and also look in the week after that at a collection of hymns known by tradition as the Homeric hymns. Each of these poems is going to get us inside of the gods' world. We're going to have a chance to watch what it's like to be them. If we go in with the expectations that we're going to find all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-good creatures, we're going to not be satisfied. In fact, the Greek gods are not at all like that. They're flawed and strange, and they have their own ways of doing things. They don't actually know everything. They know lots of stuff, but they don't know everything. They have tremendous powers. They're much more powerful than you and I, but they're not all-powerful. And they're surely not all good. They do some bad things. They're, in fact, maybe something like what you and I are like, if only we didn't die and were massively powerful. That's kind of, I think, how the Greeks have their vision of their gods. In addition to the other things that they do that we've talked about, they suffer, they go through trials and tribulations, they try to find their place among their peers, they try to get set up in life, and for those of you who pay attention to your etymologies, you'll already know, in looking at the title of the work we're going to turn to in this coming week, Hesiod's Theogony, that the gods are also born. Yes, indeed. The gods might not die, but according to Hesiod and rich parts of the tradition, the gods are indeed born. There's a time before which they don't exist. The Greek title of Hesiod's epic, Theogonia, comes from two words, theos and goneia. Theos meaning God, and goneia meaning a birth, coming into being through birth. So we're going to get into this other kind of world through Hesiod and through the Homeric hymns. We're going to be in a world that's very early on, much prior to the kind of Homeric stories that we've been seeing and what happens in the Trojan War and afterwards. We're back in the early days of creation, in kind of proto-zone, before the world was formed. This early time, humans and gods spend time face to face. We're going to see that's happening. And as you run into it, it's quite striking from a Homeric perspective, but it's the world we're going into next. So we're going to get to know the gods in these coming lectures. We're going to see them face to face and spend some time with their trials and their tribulations as they try to find their places. Hesiod's Theogony coming this week, and the Homeric hymns coming in the week after.